So one of the coolest parts about my job is that I have a ton of visibility into what's going on with all the teams in the league, and really one of the only people that does. So I just wanted to share a little bit about the landscape of 2018 of all the teams and what's going on with each. And I'm going to finish with what I believe to be the most improved team talent-wise. But first I want to start with the Jacksonville Steel because I know the least about them, really. I don't know a ton of the athlete landscape in Jacksonville. What I do know is that they have a great core of utility players. Larry Gaskins, Fletcher, and Tripp, I've all seen. They all have kind of a little bit different strengths, but they're all really strong, and they can all do a wide variety of gymnastics movements. So a great core of utility there. I think they'll be able to compete with anyone on the guys' side as long as they can find somebody to do the higher level gymnastics aspects of things. And then on the female side, Adriana's a great start from a utility perspective. I know Jason cares a lot, and he's been putting a lot of effort into putting them in a great position. So they're going to be really a wild card. I don't know what to expect. The Orlando Aces have a lot of great players returning. Anytime you can have an MVP at a sport be a coach of the team, she knows how to think about this sport. She knows how to plan and approach it. So it's going to be a big advantage for the Aces. So I can't wait to see. They've got a lot of new players that they brought in from literally all over the country. They've got people coming in. So it's going to be awesome to see how she kind of orchestrates all of that. Regardless, they're going to be a strong team. The advantage that the Sharks have is I'm pretty sure they have the best guys gymnastics in the league. They've made a couple additions this year. They have two guys that can do 15, 20 double touches unbroken, both of which are probably about tops in the league. But not only that, they added a pure male gymnast as one of the few that we have in the league, and he can do everything, high level gymnastics wise for the guys, and he can do it really fast. He's a smaller guy. We haven't really seen much about him, but it's pretty exciting to have him in the league in general. So that only makes their strength stronger. But also they've had a lot of improvement on the girls' side. Carly really stepped it up. She looks like she's doing a lot better this year. Not that she wasn't great last year, but she's just improved even more from where she was. And they have a great solid core in Layla and Serena as well. Interesting to see, they also kind of plugged one of their holes. They needed to get some Derek some help on the guy's strength side, and they did that with new guy Thor. I haven't seen much about him, but he kind of plugs that gap that they had. So they're going to be strong this year. It'd be interesting to see how they do. Then, of course, the Brigade, they really don't have any holes. They have strength in every aspect and every position of the team. They did lose some key members, particularly Clint, who's to an injury prior to even having practice, which was a real bummer for them. But they don't have a ton of depth right now. So while they don't have any weaknesses, they don't have a ton of depth. So if they lose anybody else, and they've lost a couple people to different situations, it's going to be an issue for them. But of course, they're really talented, and they have the experience of winning, and they're going to expect to continue. So they're probably the ones to beat out of the Northern Conference still. But it'll be interesting to see how they make up for some of their early losses. Okay, in the South, let's start with the Pulse because they're the biggest unknown. I do know more about them than Jacksonville, mainly because of Rich and Rachel. Rich is kind of like higher level gymnastics, a lot of capability, but he's also really strong. He's kind of like Tyler Ogg from the Palm Beach Elite. And then Rachel is very similar. She doesn't have some of the higher level gymnastics movements, but she has huge sets of gymnastics and is super strong for her size. So anytime she is on the barbell, she can cycle it really quickly. So I think she's one of the top utility players in the league. The two of them together is a big advantage from not just a physical perspective, but they have a great approach to the mentality and their thought process of the team. So, and then Rainey and Ezra is a great addition. Well known in South Florida, they're always on the local podiums. So I think they're going to have a strong core. I don't know much about the other players, but they have a great setup, great start. They could be a wild card. The Elite brought in a lot of new players this year. Most notably, Danielle will be playing. And the addition of Kaylee definitely upgrades their girls from last year, the two of them. They have Grace returning, who's one of the top speed athletes in the league because of her shorter limbs. And then the guys are really a big X factor for me right now. They have a lot of ability on the guys' gymnastics side, and they're going to be up there competitive with the Sharks as the best in the league in that regard. with the options that they have. But the strength is going to be the question mark. They got Anthony back, who's one of the stronger athletes in the league, but they need to back him up. Tyler, again, is really strong and versatile. But those middle ground guys I really don't know a lot about, so it'll be interesting to see. But they have as much talent as anybody in the league. It's going to be interesting how they use it. And, of course, the MVP, or the most valuable coach in Danielle, who's now also playing. So the Freaks. So last year the Freaks were the underdogs. They're not the underdogs this year. They plugged all the holes that they had. One of the most notable is Paola out of Miami from Zoom. She is great at the gymnastics, which was their, they needed to get Julie some help on that end, and they did that in spades with her. They also upgraded his strength, and they have Jeff Ochoa, who flies under the radar, but he's clearly far and away the strongest guy in the league. It's not even a question. So those end movements are going to be cake for them. So, like I said, I was going to save the biggest improvement talent-wise for the end, and it's the Lions. They had one of the strongest sets of girls last year, competitive with the Brigade, and then they brought in Laura Gonzalez, who just really even elevates them even more. The guys' side took a couple big shots in the arm, of course, most notably with Eric Cardone. He's one of the top bodyweight specialists in the world, and then Robbie out of Seoul is a very strong athlete, so he's going to really help out Marcos in those fourth quadrants. The biggest X factor with the Lions is the fact that they've got a lot of individual high-level performers. It's going to be interesting to see how they mesh that together. But also they have some ex-couples that are on the team, and that also represents a potential management challenge, but I think Jamie and Courtney are up for it, so it'll be interesting to see how it goes. But overall, I'm super excited about the year overall. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see how it all shakes out, and I'm really super excited about it. I hope you guys are too. Ask any questions you have about the teams, and we'll fill you in as best we can.